At Sabancı University, we teach our students how to learn. This basically means knowing how one learns and continues to learn throughout life. For this reason, we offer our students the freedom to choose their own diploma programs. Those students
At Sabancı University, we teach our students how to learn.
has to decide.
This basically means knowing how one learns and continues to learn throughout life.
With a flexible
For this reason, we offer our students the freedom to choose.
We open up space for them to find out what they are passionate about so that they can become self-confident, and we show them the necessary techniques. Our Foundations Development Program, double major and minor programs are also part of this whole. For this reason, we are the choice of the most successful students.
What makes Sabancı University special is its research focus. So we don't do just teaching here, but we are also developing the knowledge that contributes to our teaching. So it's a research institution, and we will be happy to see you working with us. And if you're interested in participating in these research activities, we will be very happy to host people from different backgrounds, different stages in their academic careers. Undergraduate students, graduate students are all welcome.
We have countless graduates who have made a name for themselves all over the world, thanks to the opportunities and the quality of education offered by Sabancı University. Being a Sabancı member means, first of all, being a part of a leading university, not only with its education, but also with its campus environments and practices that give importance to the world and the future.
I live in the dormitory on the campus. At first, I felt a bit of a stranger. However, this is such a campus which meets all our needs, in which it is full of social activities.
We can do our sports around the lake or indoors. Sometimes we make music with the club activities, and other times we study all the night in the information center.
One of the strongest aspects of Sabancı University is that it has a strong academic staff who have completed their education at the most prestigious universities in the world, who are experts in their fields and who actively continue their research. Our students can always communicate comfortably with the faculty members and arrange a meeting about the subjects they do not understand and for career counseling.
At Sabancı University, students have the privilege of enjoying a vibrant campus life, filled with diverse opportunities. Alongside receiving a quality education, we uncovered our potential through the various facilities available on campus, including the state-of-the-art sports center. Engaging in sports club that embraces different interests, from football and basketball to sailing and motorsport, which enriches our university experience. Furthermore, we have the opportunity to gain new skills and experiences exploring different aspects of ourselves through participation in various students' clubs and social events. As an international student, I must say that Sabancı University offers the most diverse and welcoming community I've ever experienced. The education language being entirely in English has made it easier for me to fully engage and excel in my studies. I appreciate the safety and security measures in place on campus, making me feel at ease during my stay here. The availability of shuttles to the city center allows me to explore Istanbul's vibrant and historical city life.
Here at Sabancı University, our laboratories are well equipped with the latest technologies in the world. This is a world-class university prioritizing research, and our laboratories are open to all our students.
Thanks to the exchange programs at Sabancı University, we also have the opportunity to experience different universities abroad. I was in University of Porto in Portugal in my second year as an Erasmus exchange student. This unique 6-month experience has greatly benefited to both my personal growth and career development.
The research centers of Sabancı University continue their work in very different areas, ranging from social science to nanotechnology. These centers also provide us with a link to the real-world problems of industry. Our students and our researchers get the opportunity to work on these real problems and create solutions that will be beneficial for the society.
I am working in the area of robotics control and automation. I would like to introduce our robots Sural and Sukan. These robots are designed and built in our robotics laboratory for locomotion experiments.
Our aim is to ensure that every student studying at Sabancı University becomes not only a successful graduate of their program, but also a global citizen. At the moment, about 25% of our graduates are successfully continuing their studies or their work in different countries worldwide, in the best universities, continuing their master's or PhD studies, or even creating their own companies. We are very proud of the success of our students and our graduates. Many companies today compete to attract the successful graduates. This situation will be easily recognizable for Sabancı University graduates. Every year, many large companies apply to our school to recruit students for their internship programs. Of course, there is a reason for this: our well-educated and visionary students. Almost all of our graduates start a job within the same year they graduate. Students discover themselves through an amazing journey at our university. One day, in our conversation with one of our graduates, I asked, "How would you describe this place in one sentence?" The answer was, "This is the university that made me who I am and prepared me for the future." Ensuring this is one of Sabancı University's most important goals.
Hello, everyone. We still have some people joining us, so we'll just wait for a couple more minutes before we kick things off. Thank you for coming. In like 2 to 3 minutes, we'll start. Okay, I think we can slowly begin. We still have some people joining us, but they'll just miss the introductions, I suppose. Thank you, everyone, first of all, for joining. I am Chan. I am the head of the international office here at Sabancı University. We're going to be talking about admissions to Sabancı in this webinar. Discuss the university a little bit, answer some questions that you guys might have. Before I talk about, the various, let's say, mechanics of the webinar, let me pause a little bit to introduce the members of our team who are with us today. Hasan, Pınar, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Miss Pınar.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Pınar from Sabancı University Airo office. So I'm mainly responsible from Asia, except Pakistan. So I follow the application, undergraduate application from the countries from Asia, and also marketing activities, of course. So maybe some of you already know me. Some of you already got my emails for your application process. So enjoy with the presentation. If you have any question, please feel free to ask us, but after presentation, please, because most probably we will answer all your questions during our presentation. So enjoy. Thank you, Hasan and Can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pınar. My name is Hasan Tahsin Çetin from Sabancı University International Relations Office. I am mainly responsible for MENA, Turkey, Africa, Europe, and some other countries and regions. So please feel free to ask your questions in the chat bar. Hope you have a great time. See you soon again.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. We have some other members, of course, who are unfortunately unable to join us because of other issues, other tasks that they're busy with today. But there are two other members who do recruitment for Pakistan as well. So we are going to, as I said, we're going to do a presentation, talk about the university. There is a chat function at the bottom. You can use that to ask your questions. We will go through them afterwards near the end of the presentation as well. But of course, as Ms. Pınar said, a lot of your questions are likely to be answered during the presentation itself. So feel free to, wait for the start and see if we can handle some of your questions first. Let me share my screen and kick things off. So let's see. Here we go. Hopefully that should work. Does everyone see the presentation?
Yes, perfect. You can see.
Perfect. Great. Okay, so yes, talking about Sabancı University. You sort of, met three of our members already of the International Relations Office's admission team. As I said, Ms. Berna and Mr. Alican are not with us, unfortunately, today. But some of you might be aware of them. Those of you who've made applications already to the university might be in touch with them too, so it might be familiar names. So obviously, the university is located in Turkey, in Istanbul, one of the largest economies in the world, one of the largest in Asia. Around 85 million of a population, lots of very beautiful cities, beaches, popular holiday destination, relatively affordable prices. Of course, the economy shifts every now and again. But that's the sort of historic, let's say, background. Istanbul, of course, is where we're located, one of the most populated cities in the world, depending, of course, on how you do the calculations. One of the most populated cities in Istanbul, the cultural and financial hub of the region, very historical city, of course, going back thousands of years. Increasingly a very international city, especially when it comes to education, with lots of universities and a very large student population. And of course, owing to Turkish Airlines, it's a global transportation hub too, so quite easy to reach from most everywhere. That introduction given, let's talk a little bit about Sabancı University, Sabancı as a community first. So the university gets its name from one of the largest conglomerates in Turkey, one of the largest corporations in Turkey. As you can see, the company is involved in a lot of different regions, a lot of different businesses in Turkey. of course, this helps us a lot when it comes to investment into the university, but it also helps us a lot with name recognition, with internship opportunities, with job opportunities, and so on and so forth. The university itself is a non-profit. It's a philanthropy project basically created by the family that owns the company more than 25 years ago. So it's a humanitarian project in some ways. Established in 1999, we have around 5,500 students. We are located somewhat outside the city center of Istanbul. As you can see, we are close to one of the airports. For those of you who might know of Istanbul already in advance, we are very close to Sabiha Gökçen Airport. We have our very large campus. We'll show you some photos as we go alongside this presentation as well. Quite safe, very easily connected with the university's own shuttle networks and metro lines and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty decent, pretty good place to live in. Some facts and figures, as I said, around 5,500 students across undergraduate and graduate. Around 15% of our students are international, which is quite a large percentage for Turkish universities of similar caliber of Turkish research universities. We are one of the most significant research universities in the country. We have a very large network of partner universities globally across largely Europe, but other countries as well. Very diverse, more than 60 students, professors, and so on from different countries. 20,000-ish graduates, increasing every year, obviously, as the years go on, and 95% employment rate. So our employment rate is, one of the highest in Turkey. This is the second highest, actually, among the private universities, the highest employment rate of all countries. So something that, of all universities, I'm sorry. So it's something that we're quite proud of, obviously. So one of the things, some of the things that set Sabancı University apart, so interdisciplinary education is one of these things. We will talk a little bit more about what that means, but Sabancı is a very flexible university when it comes to the students' educational path, about how you can create your own educational journey, let's put it that way. As I said earlier, we are one of the strongest research universities in the country, with the highest sort of research budget among all universities in Turkey. Very global university, very diverse, lots of partnerships, lots of resources put into those partnerships. So it's something, again, that we're quite proud of. And ranking wise, we've almost always in the last 10 plus years been either the #1 university in Turkey or #2, sort of going back and forth basically from year to year, depending on the ranking. But we've almost always been one of the highest ranking universities too. So again, something that, we are proud of. On-campus accommodation, we'll talk about dormitories afterwards as well, but Sabancı University is the only university in Turkey that basically provides a dormitory space, on-campus accommodation options for every student in the university. We have had 100% of the students who wanted to stay in the dorms stay in the dorms. So our capacity is very, very large. Exchange programs, we sort of talked about these already with our partners. But for global exchange, we have a very large support network that we will discuss later on. The employment rate, again, I mentioned previously. And of course, an important question for meetings like this, all of our programs are 100% English. We do not have any Turkish courses. Or actually, I should say we do have 1 or 2 Turkish courses, but no Turkish programs. So every single program is, fully in English. It's completely possible to graduate from Sabancı University without learning a word of Turkish if you don't want to. Rankings. We sort of mentioned these already, but as of last year's rankings in 2025, for example, we were in the #1 spot in Turkey, around 350 to 400 globally. In QS, we were around 500, around that mark. Among young universities in the world, that is universities below a certain, years, we are around the 54th best university in the entire world. Among small universities in the world, universities that have, a certain number of students, around 5,000, we are the 13th best university in the entire world, the #1, of course, in Turkey. So, you know, when we talk about universities, quality, research quality, education quality, and so on, the rankings are there to support it as well. So we did discuss the education. I did mention the education system a little bit. So let me go into a little bit more detail about what exactly that means. So we allow students to choose their majors basically after they start their studies. So when you're making your program choice, of course, you have full flexibility at that point to choose any program that you want. But if you also are, you know, going to the university through an international exam system like the SAT or like through international recognized systems like the GCE, IB, etc., it's also possible for you to change your program during your study as well. So in the first year, every single person in the university, regardless of their program choice, takes the same courses at Sabancı. So this system is very common in the US. It's known as the core curriculum model. But in Turkey, we're the only university that fully implements it. So even if you want to study, let's say you want to study psychology and a friend of yours wants to study computer engineering, you would take the exact same courses in the first term. So most of these courses you can see listed in your screens right now, but some of these are latter year courses as well. Not all of these are taken in the first year, but you know there is a certain foundation that the program tries to give you before you can make your program choice and continue on to your study. So the first year is, as I said, shared subjects. Second year, at that point, you have, if you're able to benefit from the system, you have absolute freedom to choose any one of the majors. So there is no limits at that point. You can choose any faculty, any program completely freely. Or if you want to, you can postpone your decision at the beginning of the second year. You can choose not to declare for any major, and you can take multiple courses during your second year, and then decide your major at the end of the year as well. So we also give you an extra 1 year to, you know, experiment between different programs, see what you actually enjoy. So if you're, for example, torn between, let's say, computer science and, you know, same example, psychology, you can take courses from both to see which one you actually enjoy more, which one seems to speak to you more, and then make the decision, you know, specifically with that knowledge in hand. This, of course, as I said, is for students who are coming from certain systems. You can sort of really quickly see the courses here. Manahil, I saw your message, but we'll go back through these afterwards as well when the presentation is over. So as I said, you make your program choice completely freely. And these are all the programs that we have listed once more. These are the only bachelor programs that we have. Yes, Sabancı University only has around 11 bachelor programs. So you can see all of them listed here, the engineering and natural sciences degrees, arts and social sciences, and our business school. You can do double majors in any combination between these programs. So without paying anything extra, it's possible to take, you know, both of those programs at the same time, depending on your GPA, of course. And you can also do minors in addition to your, you know, major program. So you can see the minors listed on the right side. And again, these are completely flexible. You can choose any subject that you want. So with this system as well, in addition to the program choice system, it really gives you a lot of flexibility in, you know, how you formulate your educational path, basically. The university is, of course, accredited and part of a lot of different international networks and partnerships. We get our accreditation for our engineering programs, for example, through your ACE, which is the basically American Council of Engineers. So it's an ABET accreditation. It's, you know, globally recognized. Our business school is accredited by 2 major business school accreditation agencies, AICSB and EMBA. So, you know, there's a lot of recognition on that front as well. So the degrees are globally recognized. And as I said, we are part of some other partnerships like the Venice International University Network. This is something that we have become a part of recently with a lot of other very globally highly ranked universities. It's basically a system that you can benefit from during your study. What happens is, just to give an example of, you know, one of these partnerships, you basically, if you're a part of this system, you take courses in Venice basically for 1 term instead of in Istanbul, and professors come from these other universities in the world to create like this sort of shared university in Venice for a term. So, you know, you'll have students from, you know, professors from like Leuven universities, like top universities in, you know, in other countries, Duke, and so on. You can see the examples listed on the, on the page, like Korea University from Seoul and so on and so forth. So it's possible to get this, very global education as well during your educational period. And of course, this is on top of the other exchange systems and so on that we have, which we will talk about soon. Of course, we should talk a little bit about our alumni, what happens when I graduate from Sabancı University. So, of the alumni that we have that pursue professional degrees, of course, there's a lot of different paths that they go to, but you can see listed on your screen some of the, companies that they work in and the, statistics of numbers, like active numbers at the moment. So, you can see that there's a lot of students who go on to work in like, top companies globally, not only in Turkey, but also, in the US, in UK, in Europe, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of, diversity when it comes to professional path, for the professional path that our alumni follow. And the same applies, of course, to graduate students. A lot of, top universities. Our university is, as I said, like one of the best in Turkey, so very well recognized in the academic circles. And a lot of our professors themselves are Ivy League graduates, top graduates of top universities in the world, like, Oxford, Cambridge, and so on and so forth. So there's a very strong network, basically, which you can benefit from after you graduate. So consistently, we send students to the top universities in the world. So if you want to use Turkey as a stepping stone, for example, to hopefully one day reach even greater heights, that is something that we support quite strongly ourselves. Research opportunities, as I said, we have one of the highest research budgets of all universities in Turkey. Research is a very important fact of life at Sabancı University. As you can see again on the right side, we also are very highly ranked when it comes to research quality among other Turkish universities. Research is, as I said, a part of life at Sabancı. This goes on from the undergraduate level. So if you are interested in research, there's lots of laboratories, research centers on campus. Some of your courses will inevitably take place in laboratories, and this is true even for social sciences or business students, not only for engineering and natural sciences students, but there's almost always a hands-on aspect to our programs, regardless of the program itself. So it's something that we value quite heavily, of course. Exchange programs, again, we sort of talked about it a little bit about, the global aspect of the university, but you can see some of our partners here. So for those of you who might not be aware of exactly what exchange means at the university context, it is basically a system where you can spend 1 to 2 terms of your education at a different university, studying, in that university without any kind of extra tuition fee payment. So while studying at Sabancı, you can spend, for example, 1 term or 1 year in Toronto, in the University of Toronto, while still paying Sabancı University's tuition, but taking courses there instead. We have basically around 300 partners across 60 countries, almost all of which are ranked higher than we are. It's a very robust network. And we have the highest budget when it comes to exchange partnerships in Turkey. We send, more than 100 students every year to these programs, receive more than 100 students in turn from these programs every year, actually more than 200 at that point. So it's a very beneficial program, very strong program that we really support very heavily. And it can be, a very good way to add an even more international concept, international factor to your education during your study. And we have partners not only in Europe, but as you can sort of see from the examples on the screen, outside as well. And we are one of only 2 universities in Turkey that funds this globally too. So what this means when it comes to the funding is, for example, if you choose to go and study for 1 term in, let's say, Hong Kong, then the university would pay your plane tickets. The university would pay you a day-to-day fee for your daily expenses and so on. So we do make sure that you have funding to do this as well. So it's not only something that you can benefit from if you can afford it, but the university helps financially for you to benefit from the system too. So campus life, we talked about the campus, a little bit at the very beginning. Of course, there's a lot of different student clubs and events across the year, both in our, performing arts center and also through our student clubs. And of course, some, you know, traditional events like our spring festivals and so on and so forth. You can see, you know, some sports facilities photos at the bottom. Accommodation, as I said earlier, we, as of last couple of years, we have been able to provide 100% accommodation, basically roster. So every student who wanted to stay in a dorm was able to stay in a dorm. Around 96% of our undergraduates stay on dormitories if they want to. You can see the dormitories themselves at the moment in your screen. These are basically within walking distance of our faculty buildings, like 5 minutes walking distance. They're all in the same campus. There's different room types, 2, 3, and 4-person rooms, all of which are, of course, you know, eminently comfortable. There are more than 11 different cafeterias. There's a large, you know, dining hall. There's a supermarket. Of course, there are the certain, you know, the things that you would expect, like a library and a gym, et cetera, et cetera. But we also have a full-on hospital on campus with, you know, health services and so on. So for those kinds of, you know, extra additional needs, we almost always have someone that can be there to help as well. So it's a very safe, secure, comfortable place to be in. And you can again see some photos. These are largely dormitory areas, basically. You can see actually the first one that you see is sort of our hospital in the distance, but it's like some rooms of our some photos of our dormitory areas. This is our cafeteria at the top and the university central building at the bottom. You can see the library also is one of those buildings and our research center. So the campus is, you know, quite large, quite beautiful, and a very easy place to be, like a home away from home type of situation. As I mentioned, there's, you know, in addition to all the usual amenities, there's a supermarket, there's a bank, a hairdresser, and so on. There's a post office. So really you can find most anything that you need without leaving your dormitory at all. All that said, the meat and bones of a meeting like this, how to apply an application details. So applications are open right now. They're going to continue until the end of August. So we have a long period ahead of us. It's quite easy to apply. There's an online application portal. There is an application fee of $30 to be able to apply to the university. We do consider candidates sometimes for application fee waivers as well, so keep that in mind. Basically, during your application, you're expected to upload certain systems, certain documents. It's pretty easy to follow. But, you know, there's a exam list, accepted exams and diplomas list on our website, which you can go and check to make sure that you meet our requirements as well. And of course, you know, even during the application stage, any question you have, you can always reach us if you are stuck anywhere. You can use the QR code at the top of the screen too, of course, if you want to reach the application system from here, but simply apply.sabancı.univ.edu is the website. Some of the documents are mandatory, of course, like a passport and your high school transcripts and so on. Some of the others are optional. You do not need to have an English test to be able to apply to Sabancı University. It is completely optional. If you do want to submit one, you can, of course, but we can completely evaluate you and give you a scholarship, etc., without an English exam score such as TOEFL or IELTS. We instead have our own English exam that students can take. So if you don't want to submit an English exam during your application, you can simply apply without it. And if you get accepted, when you come for registrations to the university, then you take an English test at that point. So it's completely flexible on that level as well. Tuition fees. As of this year, our tuition fee is unchanged from last year, so it is $36,500 per academic year. We do give scholarships, of course, starting from 25% all the way up to 75%. Our scholarship average yearly tends to be around 50% or so. So we do try and give, you know, scholarships. We do try and fund students as best we can. And we have done so for many, many years. Of course, there's the dormitory costs. We also have a dormitory scholarship. So during your application, you might also be able to get a scholarship that covers the entirety of the accommodation costs, but that is only for the 3-person room. But it covers the 3-person rooms costs fully, basically. So you don't pay anything to the dorms for your education period. You can see, you know, some estimates about food expenditures, like per day, around like, you know, $3 or so per meal, on the university cafeteria. It's possible to eat cheaper than this too if you want to, cook yourself, etc. But if you wanted to eat at the university dining hall, this is the sort of general cost. And of course, there's a lot of other free, benefits that we provide, such as free healthcare. So the university insures every student completely freely during your study period. So we don't have to worry about those kinds of expenditures. So there's a lot of support, additional support. Scholarships, as I said already, one important factor here to mention is the duration of the scholarship. So sometimes students worry about losing a scholarship after they begin their studies. That's not how scholarships work at Sabancı. We basically give you an offer for the full educational period, so you cannot lose your scholarship. This is for the regular study period, as you can see written. So if you fail courses and you have to end up studying an extra year, then the scholarship is not valid for that year. But if you don't fail and you graduate in the regular time, then the scholarship is valid for that entire period. And of course, it is possible to increase your scholarship through academic success, through need-based requirements, and so on. The university has existing scholarship increase methods for students. So it's always possible to get a better scholarship, but you will never lose the existing scholarship you have within the regular confines of the academic cycle. After you get your offer, the registrations are going to start somewhere around July. There is a prepayment of $3,000, which is subtracted from your tuition. So this is not an extra payment, but part of your tuition payment in advance. You can think about it that way. Dormitory applications and so on start around September. We are quite, hands-on when it comes to that part of the cycle. So when you're, closer to the registrations, closer to actually coming to Turkey to begin your studies, we will be in touch to help you throughout that entire process. Any question you have about, how to get a visa, how to enter the dormitories, how to come to the university, blah, 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 we will be there to assist. So, we are very helpful in that part. And that's largely it. So if you want to, connect with us, if you haven't visited our website yet, you can see the link here. If you are able to come to Istanbul, you are always welcome to come and visit us on campus. We are very, very happy to, provide campus tours to anybody who might be interested in seeing more about, Sabancı University. So just let us know in advance and we will arrange that for you. Our social media channel for the international office specifically is listed again. And the contact email, of course, if you have any questions at all, you can always reach us through iro-crm@sabancıuniv.edu. And we would be more than happy to answer your questions through there as well. Thank you for listening to the presentation. I saw the chat moving a little bit from the corner of my eye. I didn't want to, pause a lot to answer questions, but I'll leave us in the presentation screen in case we need to use it to answer any questions. And let's see what we can help you guys with.
Thank you so much, Can, for the presentation. Let me read some of the questions from the top. Some of the messages I received from the direct message. So let's start with Riyad Hassan's question. Are there any full or high-value scholarships available for international undergraduate students? And what criteria are used to select scholarship recipients?
So full scholarships are, sort of dependent. There have been years where we didn't give full scholarships to students in the last couple of years. It is very competitive, basically, to get a full scholarship from Sabancı University. The easier scholarship level that we can, discuss more clearly is the 75% plus dormitory scholarship level. So at that point, of course, different systems, different grades, matter. So we can't say specifically if you get this grade, you'll get this scholarship. We don't generally have a system that works that way. But of course, academic merit becomes quite significant at those grades, at those high scholarship levels. We do consider need as well, but it has to be backed by some academic success. it's not the best usually in these kinds of meetings to, go into the detail of like, I got this result, would I be able to get this kind of scholarship? So I'll sort of slide back the presentation to this screen. If you have any questions about the kind of scholarship you're likely to get, if you want to learn that before you apply, you're more than welcome to write an email to us with your current grades, your current transcripts, and so on, and say, like, if I applied, what kind of offer would I be looking at here? And we will try and assist you as best we can.
Perfect. From the student Favor Mesoma, kindly show first year plane again.
Yes, I think I caught that a little bit, but I can show you that once more. So this page, I believe it was. So these are the courses that are taking in the freshman year, in the first year in the university, where everybody takes the same courses. One important thing that I didn't specify during this part of the presentation is, I mean, you can see from the slides as well, but in case anybody is wondering, this system doesn't extend your education duration. You still graduate within the complete 4 years. So it's not like an extra year, like a foundation year. It's just the first year of the education system, basically.
Perfect. Another question, are there also need-based scholarship offered to applicants from financially disadvantaged backgrounds?
Yes, for sure. We do consider financial need as well during the applications. But those are generally for some of our lower scholarship levels, we should mention. So if you are in need of, as I said earlier, like 100% scholarship or a very high scholarship when it comes to financial need, generally for those levels, we do consider merit as part of the process as well.
The next question, do we need to pay any admission fee if we apply for scholarship?
So there is an application fee of $30. So to be able to apply, you have to make that payment, even if you're applying for a scholarship. There is no additional fees to apply for a scholarship. We evaluate every single applicant automatically. And as I said, if the $30 fee is in some way, making you unable to apply, then you're always welcome to send us your details through email, and we will, try and guide you about the possibility of getting a scholarship that would actually assist you with the current grades that you have.
Great. The next question from Zulfikar. I want to get scholarship for study in Sabancı, but my academic score is not high. But I'm good in other extracurricular activities.
For sure. So we basically, I guess the question is like, getting scholarships with extracurricular successes. That is something that we look at for certain. We have had students who have gotten high scholarships largely based on extracurriculars, merit as well. These could be, like extra certificates that you have. These could be club attendances, internships, etc., etc. If you're able to document your successes in some way through your application, could be through, like as I said, certificates, could be through recommendation letters, a strongly written, a nicely written statement of purpose, and so on, that doesn't blatantly use AI. We will be able to, evaluate you based on those and give you a scholarship on that too, hopefully.
Correct. From Muhammad, a question about A levels. Grade requirement for A level students for computer science and engineering program.
So for A levels, the minimum grade that we require just to be able to apply is to have 2 C's. These can be predicted grades as well. You don't have to have the actual final A levels. But of course, for a scholarship evaluation, your grades should be higher than that, and more subjects are almost always more beneficial. So yeah, again, to not get into the whole individual application evaluation thing. If you have any questions about your marks, your grades, just write it to us on email, and we will guide you as best we can.
Another question from Turkish students. Do I have to take YKS exam? I am planning to apply to Sabancı as a Turkish student.
I mean, you can answer that, I guess, Hasan. You're the expert.
Ece Melek, if you are not studying in an international high school, or if you are not about to grade from international high school in Turkey, no, you cannot apply as an international student. You should take YKS exam. For your further details, you can directly reach me out by email. Will you explain about any master programs? The another question, or
So this
on
is
bachelor
largely,
programs?
yeah, this is largely for undergrad. I suppose it has become apparent as we have discussed undergrad details. But on that front, we can tell you that the graduate applications have opened for some programs, are going to open in the next month for others. If you just go to the university's website, the main landing page right now has a lot of links about how to apply to graduate programs. And you can once again email us any question that you have about master's and PhD applications, and we will happily forward the ones that we can to the faculty and so on to make sure that you get the right answer that you need.
Okay. The next question is from Caner. Caner is living in UAE. I remember I met him personally
Ah,
in UAE. Application related question. My application won't get declined if, let's say, my passport is not clear in the picture, right? Because it doesn't let me edit my application. So you can just send us your passport. We can just upload on your behalf. So don't worry about it.
yeah.
From Zulfikar, another question. I want to get admission in psychology program, mental psychology. Do we have mental psychology
Um,
somehow?
I mean, I don't think we have a like specific psychology program, you know, called mental psychology, but I would imagine all psychology is mostly mental. Like you might sort of mean it in the sense of like, I don't want to focus in like organizational psychology or social psychology and so on. In that case, like our program does have like a clinical aspect to it as well. So like the official, let's say, the common psychology specialization that you would expect. So most likely it would fit what you're looking for. If you have questions about the program or the context, contents, let's say, of a specific program, you can always visit our website and, check course descriptions and paths and so on. The university's department websites, especially on undergrad, really show a lot of paths that you can follow during the program as well. So it's really easy to find get some sense of which fields this program specializes in, if that is a question that you have.
Okay. How many majors and minors can we opt for? What is the limit altogether?
I mean, so you can normally, let's say normally, but legally, you can have a double major and a minor at the same time. So that would be two majors and one minor, but you would probably die trying to take all of those courses at the same time. So mostly, the most you can do is a double major or a minor in addition to a single major. Because the coursework just becomes very, very high when you're going past that. The exception to that could be doing something like political science and economics together or computer science and electronics together. So very similar programs that already have a lot of courses that are, shared across the degrees. In those situations, perhaps you can add extra coursework to that on top. But I would not recommend it regardless. So like a double major or a major plus a minor is usually the most that is healthy to do. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. The next question from Elizaveta Babushkina. Hello, Elizaveta. Are there any research opportunities within psychology major available?
Yes, definitely. I mean, again, there's a lot of laboratories and so on, even for social sciences related programs in the university. Psychology program does have a lot of research aspects to it. Once again, as I mentioned, I mean, it's very strong in clinical psychology, but some other psychology elements once more different, like again, like social psychology, for example, or like organizational psychology, etc. They have, very good strengths in those fields. If you are interested in following any program to its, let's say, research path, Sabancı University is a very, very strong university when it comes to that. Anybody who's interested in any one of the degrees that we have in a sort of research sense would be very, very happy at Sabancı. I can say this without a touch of marketing. This is just a very honest truth about the university. And I can also just to show everybody once more, I'll just slide us to the program page so you can see all the programs we have available.
Okay. Yes, great. So the next question about scholarship again. Is it possible to combine multiple scholarships? Like if I qualify for merit scholarship and an athletic scholarship, can they be combined for 100% scholarship?
Of course, yes. I mean, so not necessarily for 100% always, of course, we cannot guarantee these scholarship levels, as I said earlier. But of course, we do consider different strengths of an application. We don't just look at merit or we don't just look at extracurricular. So if your application is strong on, one aspect, we will try and we'll try and, put more weight on the aspects that you're good at. If you're good at multiple things at the same time, then of course, for sure, that will push your application to even greater heights when it comes to scholarship evaluations.
Okay. Zulfikar submitted his application in December, but he didn't pay the application fee. Can he pay now? Yes, you can. Of course, you can. So is there any exchange program available for Pakistani student, as I am fourth semester of computer science and I want to apply in it?
I think Hassan just dropped. But let me see if I can find the question.
Let me find this question and
Yeah.
read for you. Da, 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 da.
I found it
I
actually.
yeah, I submit my apply. Do you give full scholarship? Do you have exchange opportunities for Pakistani students, or
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
it the question?
Yeah, that was the question. So I mean, yeah, we have exchange opportunities for everybody, basically for every student from every country. If you're curious about exchange opportunities specifically with universities in Pakistan, we have partnerships with a couple of universities in Pakistan as well. If you are already studying in Pakistan and want to do an exchange program with Sabancı, that sometimes requires, agreements to already exist between our university and yours. So in that case, I would recommend checking our website for our partners list. But for sure, there's a lot of different exchange partnerships that we have globally. So it's something that we, offer every student of every nationality.
Okay. The next question.
Hasan saying no.
Sorry, I just dropped.
Yeah,
Next
okay.
question from Faisal Sahal. I have a strong interest to study data science analysis, but I'm looking for scholarship. Did this university offer scholarship?
Yes, of course, we do offer scholarships. I can go back to that slide as well, just so we have it in the background. And the data science program is a recently opened program. It's a very strong degree. Any program that touches on computer science at all is very, very strong at Sabancı University. And data science it's a very interdisciplinary program in Sabancı. Not really only it's generally an offshoot of computer science, but in Sabancı it's a much more interdisciplinary program. I highly recommend it. I think it's a very, very beneficial degree going into the future as well. So if you're interested in it, and if you're thinking of Turkey, I mean, Sabancı should be one of the best choices for sure.
The next question from Taha. Is there no single person room?
For undergraduate, sadly not, Taha. We do have single person rooms for PhD students generally, but on undergraduate, we do not have single person rooms. This is a question that we get very commonly from students, especially in the freshman year. Students always want to stay in single person rooms, and all of these questions disappear when it comes to the second year or so, because once you make friends, it's much cooler to, stay in a dorm room with them and so on and so forth. So I know it might sometimes, sound preferable to have a single person room, etc. But trust me, dorms are quite fun.
Great. The next question from Riyad Hassan. Hello, I'm from Bangladesh. I applied to Sabancı University through Turkey Burslar Scholarship Program. My first major choice is listed as Turkish taught. However, I heard that Sabancı mainly offers English taught programs for international students. In this situation, will my application still be considered, or could it be automatically rejected because of the language difference?
You broke off a little bit there for me, Hassan, in the middle. Did they say that the program shows Turkish language?
Uh, I guess Riyad Hassan, this student, applied through a Turkey scholarship program, but his major choice is listed as Turkish taught program. But Sabancı offers only English taught programs.
Yeah.
But we are not in this year, we are not listed under Turkey scholarship program for
Yeah.
undergraduate program at
Exactly.
least, and also not under master and PhD program, right?
Yeah, no, we shouldn't be listed. If we are there and if it shows Turkish taught, that should be a mistake. So, if you have a link or something, you can always send it to our. I closed the page. I'm afraid. I'll share my screen again. But basically, if we are there, that's an error. Just email us and we'll get it sorted.
Recently, I signed up as a student to the Turkey scholarship program website. Sabancı was not listed there.
Yeah, so there you go.
And then another question from Ronald Ibrahim. ACT certification is applied, so we accept ACT, right?
Yes, of course, we accept ACT as well.
Minelli as asking accommodation fee.
So the
Fee
accommodation fees depend on the room type. There are 2, 3, and 4-person rooms. On average, the fee is around $5,000. The 2-person room is a little bit more expensive. I believe its tuition reaches closer to 6,000. So you can sort of, base it on that front. These fees are likely to get updated for next year, but we don't really expect an increase on the dorm costs. And we have a full scholarship that covers the dormitory fees for the 3-person room.
Another different question from Mumal Mustafa. What certificate are acceptable for English language proficiency?
So we generally recommend the TOEFL. IELTS is unfortunately not acceptable in Turkey due to Turkish Council of Higher Education regulations, so it's not really up to the university, unfortunately. So basically, if you want to take an exam, TOEFL is the easiest one, or PTE. But you don't have to take an exam during the applications. You can apply without an English test and just simply take our exam when you come here for registrations. If you pass our test, then you start your program completely freely. So, it's completely a free option of an English exam. So you don't really have to go through anything during the application stage. If you don't want to risk our test, then at that point we recommend taking the TOEFL, as I said, but you can take the TOEFL after securing admission.
Related to this question, do you accept Cambridge English assessment?
Yeah, of course, CAE, yeah, we accept that as well. There is basically on our website you can find, I'm not sure if there was a slide on the presentation, but on our website you can find a list of all the English exams that we accept too. Generally, we recommend TOEFL, PT, and so on because those are the more well-known ones. But you can take the CIE as well. On that front, for the Cambridge assessment, this is basically the exam that we accept. It's not the A-level English course that we accept. So you cannot apply with that one.
Yeah, okay. The next question is for Ms. Pınar. Due to my family's limited financial circumstances, paying the 3,000 per registration fee by the stated deadline is financially challenging for us at the moment. I would like to kindly inform you that I will be applying to the Azerbaijan State Scholarship Program to cover my tuition expenses. As a medalist of National Olympiad in informatics, I have a strong chance of being awarded this prestigious scholarship. However, the scholarship results have not yet been announced. So would it be possible to extend the payment deadline until the results of the state scholarship program are announced?
Well, actually, the students who will apply with a government scholarship, not for only Azerbaijan students, as I know, we will make an exception. You don't have to pay the deposit payments, the 3,000 US dollar. But I mean, you need to inform me about us. Actually, not only me, inform us about this situation. Accordingly, we can send you another offer letter that it can be used for this application, scholarship application as well. So no worries about this deposit payment if you are applying for the state scholarship program, not from only Azerbaijan, all around the world. Just send me email about this, please.
Great, thank you so much. Let me skip the questions related to IELTS. So the next question, do you have any bachelor degree along environmental studies like environmental engineering?
Unfortunately not. I should check our minors really quickly here, because I believe we do have a minor in energy. Yes, exactly. So there's a minor program in energy that is the closest we can get to environmental studies. Unfortunately, we do not have a department that really focuses on environmental studies.
Okay. The next question from Otong. Does application require nominations from embassy or Ministry of Education?
No, you can apply without it. If that is like what Ms. Pinar said, if by that you mean a state scholarship program, etc., we of course do accept applications through those kinds of systems as well. But you can apply as a regular individual without any nominations from anywhere.
So regarding the courses, Miriam is asking, do all of these courses have to be taken in the first year? So regarding
So
freshman year
not
course.
all of them. Some of them are taken in latter terms as well. But yeah, most of the ones that have 1, 2 written, if you can see calculus 1 and 2 and so on, those are basically the first and second term. So you take these courses and then you pass them and then you start your major program courses.
So next question from Warisa Jaha Hussein. Hi, I am a student from Bangladesh. I'm currently doing my Cambridge A-level and I want to move on to doing my undergraduate in data science and analytics. However, my Cambridge AS level results are not exactly amazing, but the rest of my academics results are pretty good. I also have my SAT score. So what are the academic prerequisites for applying?
I mean, you can apply with your SAT scores potentially, depending on your grade. It's also possible to, I mean, you can also apply with your A levels. If you're a GCE student, it's sort of important for us to know when you left the system, if you've taken A levels or haven't taken A levels, basically. But the SAT is absolutely a path that you can use to apply.
Great. From Cameron, Mr. Çağan, could you please explain how the ELE English exam at Sabancı University works?
Good question. So the ELAE is basically, as I said, like it's our own English test. It is free of charge. It is given freely to every student who doesn't have an English test at the point of registration. So if you have applied without an English exam, then you're automatically enrolled in the ELAE. It is 2 stages. The first level is basically to determine your English level. The first stage is just to determine your English level, and then the second stage is more close to exams like the TOEFL or IELTS. It is a somewhat difficult exam. I would say it is a little bit more difficult than the TOEFL is, especially with the recent changes that the TOEFL has gotten. So as I said, if you're like confident in your English abilities, if you don't want to take an English test because you're certain that you will meet our requirements and so on, then you just don't have to take an English test at all, and you can take the LAE. If you don't want to risk our test and failing it potentially, then you can get admission, and then after your admission, you can take the TOEFL. We generally don't recommend anybody to take the TOEFL during the application stage, because usually after you get your offer, you'll have at least a month to take the TOEFL in between the acceptance dates and the university's opening dates. So you can always take the TOEFL at that point and submit the grade. So that's generally our recommendation. And on our website, if you just write, or like if on Google, if you just write Sabancı ELAE, you can go to the information pages on the university's website, and there are sample tests and sample questions and so on there. So if you want more information, you can always browse those too, or just ask us and we will send them to you. I think Hassan vanished again. Or did he? I'm not sure.
Again.
Okay, he's here.
Sorry. So the next question was from Izzettin. He's from Gaza, and his question was about dormitories. So should students evacuate their dormitory rooms during the semester break or not?
So you can apply to the dorms for the full year. If you do so, then you don't have to leave the dorms during the winter semester breaks. You can basically stay in your dorm room and not leave. During summer, the 3-month holiday, basically, so the university goes on break for like 3 months in summer. There's a summer school then. If you do not want to enter the summer school, etc., then during summer you do have to leave your dorm rooms. But we do try and assist students in those processes as best we can as well.
Fee, any eligibility criteria for application waiver? How to apply for it to be waived off?
Yeah, so we basically look at application waivers largely on a case-by-case basis. You can basically make a request on the application page or just through getting in touch with us, and make sure to enter the application system, submit your documents, so we can see the strengths of your application, and then there is a committee that makes a decision on whether we can give you a waiver or not.
So the another question from Mariam Osalmeddin. If I get acceptable grades in my A levels, but the government equivalency has issues due to the failed subject, the subject is Arabic ministry, will that be a problem if it's listed as a necessary subject? We don't have any necessary subject.
Yeah, I think she's asking because of the some countries have certain subjects you're supposed to pass in A levels so that you can get their local equivalencies. So probably that's the question. I would say, if possible, email us about this case specifically. So let's do our research. But I can say at the very least for now that equivalency procedures have relaxed somehow in Turkey, somewhat in Turkey in the last couple of years. So most likely this will not cause an issue. However, as I said, like these are, more sensitive subjects that require more time and analysis and so on. So if possible, if you can, send us an email about your situation, we will go through it, talk to the relevant parties and let you know more officially as well.
Great. The next question, is deadline for scholarship still available?
Yeah, of course. Applications continue until August 28th. Scholarships continue until August 28th. There's a long time.
Great. I'm just selecting because these questions are repeating in the same manner. Does the American passport serve as equivalent to the IELTS or TOEFL exam?
Depends where you had your high school, where you had your education. Sadly, the passport itself doesn't give you exemption from the English tests. But if you studied in the US or studied in the UK, etc., then yes, that would give you exemption.
Question from Viola. She's from Indonesia.
Hmm.
I have already obtained an SAT score that is sufficient to apply to Sabancı, but I have also registered for March 2026 SAT. Can I submit my current SAT score to apply now and upload the updated one once I receive the result?
Of course, absolutely. That is definitely possible.
IELTS is not acceptable, so if she doesn't have any English exam score,
I'm sorry, I heard about SAT. Did she ask about IELTS? In that case, yeah.
also is IELTS acceptable for Sabancı?
Okay. Yeah.
No. Okay. How does Sabancı differentiate from other universities in Turkey for international student?
Very good question. I mean, we sort of went through, I can actually slide back to the presentation and show the major reasons to choose Sabancı, I suppose, as the primary examples. Why Sabancı slides are pretty good in explaining these. So the different education system is one aspect, the top research university in the country when it comes to, research budgeting and so on and so forth. One of the highest ranking universities, one of the global universities that have the highest, the largest global partnership networks, accommodation options and the benefits that, the university provides there. So there's no real competition to get a dorm room as there is in some other universities in the country. And our employment rate. We have the highest employment rate of all private universities in Turkey by a considerable amount. The closest university after us in statistics comes around 10% lower than us when it comes to employment rates. So yeah, it's a very competitive university. There are a lot of good universities in Turkey, of course. This shouldn't mean we should only look at Sabancı and Sabancı only. So, apply to multiple places and hopefully you'll find somewhere that you're happy in.
Yes, exactly. From Anwar Ahmed, can a student in its undergraduate second year or third year apply to study at Sabancı University and its previous study years are counted or not? And after that,
Absolutely.
can there be scholarships for such a student?
Absolutely, yes, exactly. Scholarships will be counted. We can transfer your courses. Depends on your program, depends on your grades, etc. Of course, there has to be relevance in the courses that you have taken and the courses that we provide in the program that you want to transfer to. But this is completely doable. We do get applications like that every year. Email us and we will guide you.
The next question from Rahesa Andrian. I have taken the IELTS exam as my English proficiency exam, and I have read that IELTS is not accepted. Am I able to apply for scholarship without submitting an English qualification exam, or should I take TOEFL?
No, you can apply without an English test. It won't hurt your scholarship chances at all. You can apply without it, and you can get a very strong scholarship without an English test.
Maybe we should tell about this again. If you don't have any like TOEFL or like PTE exam that we accept for the English proficiency exam, you will be automatically registered for our exam as well. You don't need to do anything extra for our exam, English proficiency exam. And also these English proficiency exams are not the academic requirements. And SAT, ACT, AP, that kind of exams, or like IB, A level, or attestat, these kind of diplomas and exams are one of the acceptable academic requirements. So if you don't have any like English proficiency document that we accept, don't worry about it. You will automatically have to take our English proficiency exam. If you pass the exam, you will directly start the first year. If you fail on the exam, you need to take some English prep school courses for 1 semester or 1 year according to level of your English.
Exactly. The next question from Melek. Can you lose the scholarship if you don't meet the required grades in second, third, or fourth year?
Nope, you can't. I mean, the only way to lose the scholarship during your study period is by cheating in your exams and so on. If you get like a punishment, then you can lose your scholarship. Outside of that, it's not possible to lose your scholarship during the study period. The regular study period, I should put it that way. Our scholarships are given for 4 years. So if you graduate on time, then your scholarship will be with you throughout your education. And you can increase your scholarship. You can't lose it, but you can increase it by having a high GPA.
By the way, Hassan, I think Ece Melek missed your answer about YKS exam because she also wrote something like this. So could you please repeat your answer?
Ece Melek, hi. If you are studying in a Turkish high school, if your school is not registered under MOBIS system, then you cannot apply as international student. You should take YKS exam. If you are studying in Turkey, and only if you are a student in an international high school, then you can apply as international student. If not, you should take YKS exam. So the other question from Izzettin El Haddad. As you know, I am currently in Gaza and the Rafah border is closed. If I cannot travel in time, would it be possible for me to start my study in the next intake instead? Thank you.
So we generally give offers to a single intake. So if you accept you for the fall intake, then you have to come in fall. And we don't have a spring intake, sadly. However, we do, when we give an offer out, we try to make sure that in the next application cycle, we either give the same offer or we try and give a better offer. In most cases, we try to make sure that, for students who especially haven't been able to come to the university due to circumstances not in their control, we, try and make sure that we assist them in any way we can. So while we cannot for certain guarantee that you could come, let's say, the next term, we could for sure make sure that you do not lose your, offer, the scholarship that you have gotten, etc., in your next application. So yeah, I mean, if in those kinds of cases, we again highly recommend, remaining in touch with us. Obviously, we also live in the same sort of part of the world. We are aware of all the difficulties that, certain people, certain countries are going through, obviously, and we would be more than happy to assist in any way we can, whether it be through scholarships or other assistance, systems. So please, get in touch with us. Let us know any kind of concern that you might have, and we will do our utmost. This answer that I'm giving is obviously how our systems work in regular circumstances, but of course, there's a lot of things that are happening globally at the moment that are quite irregular. So there could be, specific decisions made in specific circumstances as well. So let us know and we'll try and do our best to assist as best we can.
Great. So the next question from Hala Hazza. Where can we keep in touch with you later after this meeting?
If you can see the screen still, Hala, the email at the bottom, IRO-CRM. All of us here see that email address. You can just write there, and we would be happy to, assist you with any questions that you might have. That's generally the easiest way, the most direct way to get in touch with us.
From Ayesha Adil, do girls and boys have different dorms?
Yes, they do. Different floors, different dorms. Yes.
From Naya, can I double major in political science and psychology?
Yep. You can double major in any combination of any one of our 12 majors.
From Sabancı, do you offer fully funded scholarship for international students from Pakistan?
So our scholarship systems are the same for all students from, everywhere. So there is no specific, nationality difference when it comes to scholarship evaluations. So, and we accept a lot of students from Pakistan, of course. So, can absolutely get very strong scholarships as a Pakistani student as well.
The next question from Ahmed. Are there full grants to support those affected by war, such as in Sudan? And is there a required rate?
Yeah, so there is no specific scholarship program of that sort in the university at the moment. There are some scholarship systems like that provided by the Turkish state for certain, conflicts, etc. So you could browse those. But of course, we do try and consider financial need and extraordinary circumstances as well. So in those kinds of situations, you can once again let us know throughout your application or before your application, and we can try and guide you.
From Zoha Sil, I currently have an O-level and AS level transcript. My A2 results are come out on August 13th. Since the deadline for the application is after this date, is it wiser for me to submit my application after August 13 or once I receive my A2 grades, or should I submit my early application with my predicted grades?
I would say predicted grades are generally better because applying early tends to have bigger advantages. A-level scores generally come out, like mid-August, so you should meet our deadline, but there have been years where they came out later than that due to other reasons too. So my recommendation would be to go on with predicted grades. We get a lot of applications from GC systems from A-level students every year, so we are very experienced in evaluating predicted grade applications as well. So don't worry, they will not harm your application. And you can always submit your A-level scores later on when you receive them and ask for a reevaluation.
Okay, great. So we left some question from the line. I got the offer and I will not pay the fees. My scholarship and admission is automatically rejected. I got the offer, and if I will not pay the fees, my scholarship and admission is automatically rejected.
So not necessarily automatically rejected, but if you want to keep the offer available to you after the deadline, you should let us know. For certain scholarship levels, especially, sometimes our quotas can end. So if you would like extra time to make the decision about the offer that you have received, let us know, mention how many weeks, days, months, whatever you will need, and we will evaluate it, talk to the scholarship committees, etc., and get back to you. If we don't hear anything from your side about the offer and the deadline passes, and then, let's say weeks, months later, the application scholarship availability is at a different stage, then yes, you might lose your offer. So it's best to let us know about what you're planning.
Yeah. Related to this question from Momin, if we get an offer, how much time do we have to accept the offer before it expires?
It depends on when you apply. I mean, we generally start with a couple of weeks, and then it gets shorter and shorter as the year goes on. The application cycle closes to its end. So But what I said applies again. If you are likely to pass the deadline, if you are thinking of other offers, if you want some more time to make the decision, etc., you can always let us know and we can always try and extend your period. So the deadlines aren't, completely set in stone, but it is important that we have information about your intent. If we don't hear from you at all, then we might cancel the offer.
Okay, the last question from Samaika Hayat. Could you please tell me which qualities or achievements make an international student a strong candidate for Sabancı University scholarships?
So this is a very wide question, basically, but of course, as I said, academic merit is generally part of it. So high grades is going to be an aspect. Outside of that, we do look at like recommendation letters, certificates, like a strong extracurricular profile. Those could either make up for lacks in academic marks or, even further strengthen your application. So you can also, consider if you have a strong non-academic side, you can also, emphasize those strengths in your application. Generally, I would say those like the academic merit and the strong extracurriculars especially are the major things that we look at. Financial need is again something that we do consider. That doesn't make someone a strong candidate, of course, but again, it's important to sort of underline that that is an aspect of our evaluations too. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Does submitting an application with and without English proficiency exam
Mm.
affect chances of obtaining a scholarship?
No, absolutely not. Like we don't consider, or let me put it this way, we almost don't consider English exams at all. They are sometimes a factor that we do look at, but for scholarship evaluations, they are almost never a deciding factor. So, you do not need to have an English test when you're applying to the university. This is something that we can say very clearly. The English exam that we provide exists to make sure that students don't need an English test during the application stage. It would be unfair to give that as an option to students and then at the same time judge them for not having an English test. So that's not something that we do. So you can apply without an English test. It will not harm your admission chances or your scholarship chances at all.
How many years back are required for the mandatory transcripts we are meant to upload?
I'm sorry, I couldn't catch that.
How many years back are required for the mandatory transcripts we are meant to upload? Your
The full
basically,
years.
yeah, high school grades, high school transcripts, basically.
Yeah.
And in your application, there is an option for others. I understand it's optional, but what types of documents do applicants generally submit here?
Anything that you couldn't fit into the other other file types, basically, like recommendation letters, statement of purpose, etc. Anything that might be missing. You don't have to submit something in every section. You can just leave it empty as well.
But it
Sometimes students,
makes difference with other applicants will be advantage for you to get like higher scholarship. This is another thing.
Of course.
So like some achievements, academic achievements, some certificates will be definitely advantage for you.
recently a student uploaded his X-ray chest test result in the test uploading field. So
Don't don't do
we are
this.
not expecting your health records. You can just upload any test results you have.
Yes.
And
So let's end the webinar. I think it's almost like 1.5 hours. What do you think, Mr. Chan and Hassan?
I see there's one. I want to answer one question. Ronald Ibrahim asked about mechanical engineering. I think he asked before as well. So I want to make sure that we answer that. We don't have a specific field, like we have mechatronics, Ronald, and it doesn't have a specific railway aspect to it. But mechatronics is basically mechanical engineering combined with electronics. So you could study the field at Sabancı at least, even though it doesn't focus on railway specifically. Are we catching up on all the questions? I think we are at the very end, right?
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
pretty much everything is covered. So if you feel unsatisfied, you can just Send us an email, iro-crm@sabancıuniv.edu, or you can reach us through Instagram.
If you're
or direct
unsatisfied,
messaging.
you can send us an email at coachuniversity at
Yes, for unsatisfied emails.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chan and Ms. Pınar.
Thank you, Mr. Hasan.
Thank you, Mr.
All
Hasan, for your
participants,
help.
thank you so much. Wish you all the success, guys, in your applications. If you feel stuck and if you have any technical errors, again, you can just contact us by email.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, hope to see you in September on campus as our
Exactly.
students.
Definitely. Yeah.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye-bye.